Okay, welcome everybody to this third part of this Hound Dog project tutorial. In this part, we are going to add in the melody. So for this, you're going to need this page of the resources, which has a melody written up at the top, and it's this one here. It's quite fiddly to play all in one go. So when you're doing a performance project, if you can play this all in one go, this is actually 4 difficulty. So you'd be looking at a 4 grade. But you don't need to be able to do it all in one go. That's one of the beauties of the sequencer for this particular part of the project. It's actually a lot easier than it looks because it's only got 5 notes in it. And we're going to do it chunk by chunk. So actually it's quite straightforward to do. So you need to have that. You'll also need to have your saved Hound Dog project file open. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a third track. Again, clicking virtual instrument. And it's given me a rather nice fetching purple colour this time around, which is that's nice. I'm quite happy with that. So this melody actually starts before our other parts begin. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to move everything back that we've already recorded by 1 bar. So to do that, I'm going to grab here and I'm going to make sure that all of the regions, remember those coloured squares where the notes are called regions, I'm going to make sure they're all selected. And then I'm just going to grab them and I'm going to move them to the start of bar 2. And it does something called snapping, which is where it automatically puts them onto the ruler lines. So it should be quite straightforward. And then we're going to record the opening of our melody in here, and it will then line up with everything that we've already got. So I'm going to put my keyboard on the screen now. And the notes that we're going to need for this are C, D, E flat, which is the black note just above a D or below an E, a normal E, and a G. Okay, they are the only notes that we ever need. C, D, E flat, E, and G. The first phrase that we're going to do, if I just pull the music over for a second, okay, is this one, which is "You ain't nothing but a hound dog." That's the rhythm that we want. And it goes D, E flat, 4 more E flats, 2 C's. In the rhythm of the words, "You ain't nothing but a hound dog." Okay? Okay? These notes here in the first bar are going to come in that empty bar that we've just made. And these 2 notes here are going to come in our second bar and line up with what we have already recorded. Okay? So let's do it. Going to get 4 pips from the metronome before we start. Oh, hang on. All kinds of problems there. I'm recording in the wrong track. Let's fix that. I haven't got my metronome on. Okay, so we want to be recording in the purple track. We want to have the metronome on. And let's just try all of that again. That was a terrible example. Here we go. Okay, so you saw my first section, the C's lined up with there. Now, we need to be careful with quantizing in this section because this section is using what's known as a swung rhythm. Okay, so we're going to experiment a little bit to see what works well. So I'm going to open up the region. Okay, and I'm going to I'm going to change the quantization for 1/16, which is on the moment. I'm going to set it to 1/8 T. That stands for 1/8 triplet. And I'm hopeful, if I've got this right, that that is going to snap them onto the places that I need. Let's find out. Yes, with one exception. The last note is in the wrong place. I can fix that manually, I think. Okay, the last one is very slightly late. So I'm going to move that forward onto the, is that the third line? 1, 2, yes, the third line. And hopefully that should now be in the right place. There we go. Okay, so there's our first region recorded. Right, I'm actually going to drag that out so that it goes all the way to the end of bar 2 nice and neatly. And then I'm going to put my ruler in bar 3. The next bit that we're going to record is this bit here, which is "crying all the time." Excuse my terrible singing. Okay, and it's E, G, A, C, C. So crying all the time. Okay, that's the next bit that we are going to record, starting at the beginning of bar 3. And we're going to have to wait a little bit at the start of the bar because there's 2 beats of rest at the start. So let me show you. Okay, so there's our next one recorded in. Hopefully you saw the screen on there. Again, we select all of those notes. We're going to use the 1/8 T quantize again, and we're going to quantize that on. That might have jumped out of place. Okay, so again, these notes are fine. This one is a little bit too late, so I'm just going to manually adjust it. So my first note, again, is on the 3rd line of that bar. Okay, now for the next section, it's an exact repeat of those 2 regions. So we could record them again, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them and I'm going to put them in again. So I'm going to select both of them by holding down the Shift key as I select on both of them. And I'm going to right click and then click copy. Put the playhead at the start of bar 5, which is where it is already. And I'm going to click paste. And that should give us what we're after. Great, so we're up to the start of bar 9, and using a bit of copy and paste, we have created the melody so far. The next section that we're going to need to do is this bit here, which is, well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Again, excuse my terrible singing, I am not Elvis Presley. Okay, and I'm going to do that all as one chunk, because while it's got quite a lot of notes in it, they're really quite simple. So we start with 3 E flats, and that's, well, you ain't, and then never had a rabbit and you, and that's D's. Ain't no friend of mine, E flat, D, C, D, C, C. Okay, so that's, well, you ain't never had a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Okay, well, you ain't never had a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. That's what we're after. Again, apologies for my singing. I am not a singer. So I'm going to stick that at the start of bar 9. I'm going to hit record. Okay. And I've just realised I didn't actually play what I said I was going to play, because I didn't do the swung rhythm. I got the D's wrong. Let me do that again. Okay, there we go. Let's quantize that up and hope that everything goes to the right place. Again, I'm going 1/8 T, quantize. Let's see how that's come out. Happy with all of that, apart from the very first note, I think. Yeah, that's just very slightly later than I would like it, so I'm going to move it. Whoops, not all of them. Oh, crikey. There we go. I had all the notes selected. Going to move the first one back. You know what? The only thing I don't like about that is that it's on a piano track and it's not sticking out very much. I think we might change the instrument. Let's do that. So if you click on the purple track again and you click over to instrument over here, you can set that to whatever you want. Now I think I'm a sax player, so I think I'm gonna stick it on a saxophone if I can. Yeah, let's try it on alto saxophone. And that hopefully now will change. Whoops. That's better. Now it's just contrasting a bit more. You could use any instrument that you wanted to. Great, fantastic. So I'm quite happy with that. So a little bit fiddly to play all in one go for difficulty, as I mentioned at the start of the video, but when we chunk it like that and we use a bit of copy and pasting, should be quite straightforward. Now, if you get into this and you're quantizing and things aren't jumping when you're expecting them to, you might need to talk to me or another teacher in lesson just to see if we can get them in the right place, or you can use a bit of trial and error. Use your ears. It's probably the number one rule of any musician, and hopefully you will end up with a nice melodic version of Hound Dog. We've got one more part of this tutorial series left, which is where we're going to add in the drums, and I shall see you in that next video. Do not forget at this stage to click on save so that you have some evidence for your forthcoming assessment, and I shall see you in that next video.